Hey y'all, happy Saturday. It is the 13th of June. Um, Normally, I try to keep the hey y'alls lighthearted, fun. Occasionally, they're charming, often funny. I try to be cute. And then there are sometimes they're pretty, intense and all that. But by and large, I try to keep it on the lighthearted side. Uh, and today I just cannot be particularly lighthearted about it. Um, and some people like it, and some people won't like it. My aim is to not be divisive, and certainly not to be disrespectful. And I'm a big believer to teach their own. You should be allowed to live the way you choose to live. You should be allowed to worship the way works for you. There are times, though, when I think it's discriminatory and disrespectful and mean-spirited and inspired and fueled by hatred and ignorance. And so that's when it tends to be serious and all that. And the Southern Baptist Convention has passed their resolution that bans any member congregation from having a woman in a pastoral position. And I'm really taken aback by that. Deeply disappointed. And again, I'm not trying to incite hatred, and I certainly don't believe in that, and don't want to cause angst and more division in the world, but simply to express my dismay and my disappointment. My mother grew up in a Southern Baptist church, Carolina Memorial Baptist Church, Thomasville, North Carolina, and Ruby Hemphill was the preacher's wife, and Ruby and Carl was the pastor. Carl was my mother's pastor all her life. My mother spent many a Sunday night at the Hemphill household because that's where the youth group met. Carl Hemphill took my mother to Caswell, which is where my mother would eventually work in summers out of college and all that. And Carl Hemphill buried my grandfather and married my mother and my father. And I sang for Carl Hemphill's funeral. And I find it hard to believe that in this day and age, Carl Hemphill, who looked like a biblical character come to life, big, strong man with flowing white hair, I find it hard to believe that he didn't consider Ruby, his wife, his life partner, his equal, and that she had as much to do with the love and care of that congregation as he did. And I have been surrounded all my life with really powerful, strong women. My grandmother, who was beaten badly as a child, abused, I'm talking about lifetime movie abuse, really. Anyway, and overcame that to raise a family and to run a business and to be quite a successful woman. And my mother, and I didn't marry a frail little nothing. Vicki Griffin is about as hard-nosed as they come. She may have been born in the North, but she is a steel magnolia. And Sophia, fierce, hard-headed, opinionated, independent, strong-willed. Many of the women that have been a part of my life and my development are just outspoken, strong, worthwhile, capable of much, talented, smart, outspoken leaders. I like strong women. I think the world needs more of them. So that said, I am indescribably disappointed, not just in the convention, but it is a loss for society and for the faithful to say that women to have such large groups say that women cannot stand up and lead. And I'll say this, and I've said this many times, and some people have not liked it. Who was the first to proclaim the risen Christ? You don't have to be a theologian. You don't have to be a biblical scholar to know this. It was a woman. Just something to think about. All right. You are loved. Otherwise, have a grand evening. Kids are out with friends, and Vicki and I are sitting here trying to figure out if this is what life looks like when we're empty nesters and our children go to college. So far, we suck at this. But anyway, we're going to figure it out. All right. You have a great day and see you tomorrow. Bye.